there's a picture of him standing in front of like the square right there during the public road. And so he's there. Oh, this is back in 2004, right? So he was also there during the 2014 recent things. He's had his offices there for a while now. So it's just one of those things of like, what the heck is he really up to? What was he doing? I don't know.
But make it simple for people that might, because look, that's good. We're not saying there's nothing there that you can prove other than a projection. But the point is, it doesn't have to mean that he's involved in some larger thing in regard to Ukraine. It could just mean that he's another corrupt politician. If this, again, I can't prove these things. I'm just theorizing that happens to be involved in an area where there is a whole lot of corruption going on because people gravitate to that, and the government's aware in regard to how these things work. And the bottom line is, it could just be that he's taking advantage of the situation, and it seems pretty clearly there's some suspicious things going on. I don't want to get too deep onto him because the point now is Hamlin and the fact that justice is apparently being done here in regard to what we can prove, what people have come for, and I think this is really important. So I'm glad to see this continue, and I do hope that more people will reach out with information if they feel this is necessary. And it makes me really happy to hear that woman. I mean, think about what that must be like to be somebody that has gone through this abuse, has watched it get covered up, and is now like, thank God something is actually happening right now. It's an inspiring moment that people should grab onto.
No, and the funny thing is, or the interesting thing is that when I was talking to this source, she told me a week ago when we were discussing the situation, and I asked her, what do you think about what's happening with the investigation now? Do you think David Hamlin's at the focus of it? Do you think they're going to go after him? And she pretty much called it and said that I think that his days are numbered, that he's burned all the bridges, and that they're going to, whoever, are going to kind of let him go down, and then this arrest came. So, like I said, we're gonna speak to this source soon publicly. She'll be coming out and sharing her story with TLAB through TLAB, and we hope that everybody who cares about these topics, not just when it's some celebrity or prince involved, but just because it happens, and because this is an organized thing. And I do think that there are people, potentially people in the Mormon Church, potentially people like David Levitt and others who are now looking at the arrest of David Lee Hamlin and probably pretty concerned about what he might say, who he might, especially if he's in his 60s now. It didn't work in 2012. They couldn't get him in 2014. They had to release him. Now it's 2022. He's getting arrested again. He might be willing to make a deal and name some names. So there could be some people who are pretty concerned about what he might say. And I hope that this doesn't go anywhere near the route Epstein went and something happens to him in county jail or anything like that.
I hate to say that's what, I'm just such a pessimist these days to watch how many times it goes the same direction. I really hope that this comes to fruition and real things happen. But if this does get large enough to where it goes that, which is very clear, seems to be tied to Mormon Church level, high-ranking people, that I would argue that's probably the way that will go. And sadly, that will be a win of its own to be like, that it just shows you that there are the effort of people, independent media, average people are encroaching on this territory for them. The Epstein thing showed you that, and I think, again, we're uncomfortable with that. So I hope that doesn't happen. I hope more comes out about it. But sadly, I think we can see the kind of control that's there. I mean, the Epstein story itself is just embarrassing how obvious that is. You know what I mean? Like, really stand back and recognize how you have a series of like 35 impossible events that happen right in succession to make that possible. I think that's the story. It's sad. But anyway,
and then it just becomes a joke on Saturday Night Live.
Right. And that's the thing, they just make it a joke. So it's like, we don't kind of secretly admit we know it's real, but we'll pretend like it's a joke and disregard it in parties, In any case, I'm glad to see that there's some good coming out of this. Now, is that that future work you're referencing, is that the interview you're potentially setting up, or is anything else coming our way in this investigation?
As regards to this specific investigation, obviously I'll be following any updates that are coming, any future arrests, any statements. We probably are going to just over the next couple of weeks, I think, get little bits of information as hearings are set. When David Hamlin first comes in, and I'm imagining he's going to plead not guilty. We'll start to get little bits of information. So I plan to do follow-ups, and hopefully we'll see where that goes. Like I said, the public information officer from the Utah County Sheriff's did say that there will be more arrests, so we're going to see something happening soon, hopefully if everything goes. And yes, I will be speaking with this source who I think is ready to come forward now and share their story, and we're going to relate that and just kind of try to provide some more, start to fill in some of these blanks, because again, David Lee Hamlin is not working alone, and that's going to be one of the first objectives of this next report, is starting to focus in on some other folks in his circle that are implicated in some of these things that the police may or may not be focused on yet. And if they're not, then hopefully the reporting we're going to do and the people who are give them something more to go on.
Right, exactly. And hopefully it does rise to that level. Just keep on doing things. And even if this is public information, which a lot of it is, the dot connecting is important, and it really does paint a good picture. Good, terrible choice of word, an important picture. Now, before you leave, Derek, I want to just, again, so this is David Hamlin, you can see here, and please read through this for yourself. There are the linked documentation, which you find in a few places today, will all be in here, including the probable cause statement from the Utah Sheriff's County information, as well as the whole body of information that is still on the QLab server, as well as, I think, on the conscious resistance server. And here's the link right here to the entire police file on David Camp. Download it for yourself, dig through it. A lot of it in here hasn't even been used in these recordings thus far. So find what you can find. It's important stuff. If you want to open source, let people investigate.
Yeah.
Please, you have a comment on that, Derek?
I was going to say, yeah, I mean, if you see names or things that we haven't, connections we haven't covered or figured out yet, then please, reach out to either of us.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I will the link here to the, scroll on, please, for me. Accidentally closed, it looks like. Oh, so here we go. So the Utah Ritualized Sexual Abuse Investigation, you can see there's now 7 parts. Please, excuse me. Please make sure you check them out. I just want to give one last shout. That's oddly not the right color. I want to give a shout out to this article just to finish here. Not shout to the one Derek wrote called "Are the Children Lying?" Re-examining the satanic panic. Just kind of stick it in the face kind of moment here to realize the NBC, I believe, was just writing this article about how the entire discussion of Levin and overlapping with Amber was just a QAnon nonsense conspiracy theory. And how much you want to bet that article doesn't go away, that it stays up there forever, regardless of what the evidence shows, which, by the way, will carry over to a point I'm going to get to in the censorship in a moment. That is how that's going right now with the